If you don't stay down and you never quit, come on over here and sit on the far end of the bench.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh, how's it going, ladies and gentlemen? I'm doing great. If you haven't realized, it's raining for the first time, and I can't remember how long in
I had
Colorado.
a huge lightning strike behind me that happened 30 minutes before we started recording, and it literally jumped me. I got shook up. Don't get shook up by a lot, but it happened. I know you heard that one too.
It came out pretty quickly. We're on opposite ends, but I drive around this area enough now for work enough, and as an open space manager, we could use a little bit of rain, use a little bit of moisture. Things aren't growing, so this is great. And everything about what we're about to talk about has been great. Episode 240. Thank you guys for tuning in. Make sure that you're following, subscribing. We are getting new people tuning in every time. I'm still learning new things. So this is recorded Tuesday, even though I know it says that we're live. This is being recorded earlier in the week. I learned that we can do that, and I don't have to worry about it. It'll just play through. So make sure you're subscribing if you're watching on YouTube. Make sure you're following wherever you're listening on your podcasting platforms. Hit up social media because we're all there. Football season coming up. We obviously give a lot of our opinions on X.
God, we need something.
And we'll be able to get into plenty of discussions. If we remember last year, Colts Nation, Anthony Richardson. I'm just saying, I watched another video last night, and we'll get to this because we're gonna talk about Superman because I finally saw the new Superman. We'll talk about PLL because we haven't updated quite as much as we wanted to. We have recaps of what happened to our teams last year. So Bengals for me, Broncos for the both of us because I'd switch teams halfway through because I'm a bandwagon like that. And then we'll have our top 5 Apex Predators because it's Shark Week. It is Shark Week.
Best week of the year.
If you're enjoying that, I know that it's almost over, but you still have a few more days to get in some nice Predators. Turn on Jaws too. It's always nice to watch Jaws during Shark Week. It's been tough, Nico. As everybody can see, I am I guess you could probably call me a stan. You could probably call me a stan. I talked about it last week when we did our top 5 superhero movies that when he died in Batman versus Superman, it's
been out for 10 years, so deal with it.
We're gonna. Let's just put it out there right now. If you don't want spoilers, you should not listen to this part of the podcast.
Skip 30 minutes ahead. Skip 20 minutes ahead. Skip 20 minutes ahead. Just warning. Spoilers ahead for Superman. Now continue.
All right. So obviously, that reaction when he is killed by the Abomination. I hate Lex Luthor. That is one thing that I've realized. Lex Luthor is the epitome of a villain. Like what Joker is to you is Lex Luthor is to me, and it's been that way for a long time. I was nervous. I wanted a good movie. First off, I wanted it to be entertaining. I wanted the story to make sense. I wanted it to work with everything that I know about the comics, and the changes, some of the risks that were taken. The choice of acting, like they're really everything that I was nervous about was pretty much addressed and put to rest. Like, I think the actor was able to do a really good job, and it's a tough character to play, like every superhero, where you have to basically be 2 different people. But you could tell a difference between his Clark and his Superman. He didn't have much time as Clark because he was pretty much fighting the entire time.
David Cornside is the guy's name who plays Superman. He may be the most Superman character that's ever looked like Clark Kent in a movie. Like I don't think anyone pulled off the look of Clark Kent more than him. And I love like the little nuances, like the how the glasses basically trance everybody else to make him everyone not think he's Superman, but he actually is. Because everyone, like for years and years, like ever since we were little, it's like, how can you not tell it's Superman? It's fucking glasses. It's like putting a blanket on a dog. It's still the same dog. It's just slightly altered. And I thought that little nuance was so awesome that they added that in because you never really thought about that. And that was something that was teased in the comics for so many years, and how like the glasses really tranced everyone away from not thinking that he was Superman, except obviously Lois Lane. But I thought David Cornswell did a fantastic job. He like I said, for everyone had these high expectations because obviously Superman is the superhero. Like he is the guy.
He's the most overpowered. He never has an actual difficult challenge. The only challenge comes with how he has to be able to beat these guys because he is so much better than them. He has to figure out how to make it look not that bad.
Superman is the guy. Let's put it that way. Marvel has a bunch of characters that, frankly, there's like 5 or 6 guys and women that you could argue could be the guy in the Marvel universe, right? Did
you also see the Thunderbolts movie? Sentry is Superman. That's who he's based off of.
Oh, I have not seen that, but I do need to see that before I see Fantastic Four this weekend. But yes, he is the guy. Batman obviously is a huge character and a lot of other things, but there's no Batman without Superman, and there's no like whole universe of DC without Superman. So I think like it was a very tall, tough task to handle when you are tasked of being the next big guy, because like you think of big time movies, right? There are specific roles in certain movies that people coordinate to certain actors, being like, if you get this acting job, you have to be worth something, right? Superman's one of those things. James Bond, another one of those things, right? You think about Indiana Jones, the next Indiana Jones coming up, the next Harry Potter, right? Everyone is always, it's a big time character in a big time world. You're always going to get scrutinized for certain things. And I think David Cornswell did a fantastic job with the way he acted, the way he played the character. And frankly, it's a type of character we haven't seen since Christopher Reeves. Yeah. It's not this guy who's going to fucking destroy everybody and to save anything. It's a guy that's like,
he's not snapping General Zod's neck.
Exactly. He's a kind soul that is basically what Superman is in comics, and that's a guy that wants to save everything and save everyone. I saw a funny meme. It's like Henry Cavill Superman let a fucking fire breathing or a lit on fire truck blow right by him and run into a building, and he just moved out of the way and it crashed into the building, as opposed to this Superman saving a squirrel off the fucking ground. It's like, it's two different Supermans. I understand that. Some people like the brawny, strong, aggressive dark one. Some people want the light-hearted one that's still doing everything he can to save the world, and one that loves his dog. Who doesn't love that? Yeah, not even his dog, but loves a dog.
His nephew dog. Yeah. No, it's a tough character to pull off, and he did it in both arenas very well. And I like the little backstory of when he's Superman, he's postured differently and he has the different voice that he tries to use. Let's take a moment, because James Gunn can't do a bad superhero movie. I loved all of the Guardians of the Galaxies, and what he did with this one, changing the story, because that message. So I did some research. I spiraled pretty hard after watching this movie because I had questions. It was late on Sunday night, so I was going back and forth with AI and I was putting ideas out there and seeing if they made sense to the computer, and the computer liked what I was putting out there. But the changing of his story to have the second part of the message say, basically, if you've seen the Invincible series, do what the Viltrumites wanted to do to Earth. Take as many wives as you can, repopulate the Kryptonian population. You are to rule over this planet because we picked it specifically so that it will thrive for you. He had never heard that message, and the story now becomes, instead of how is he going to live up to the symbolism, that's what this is. It's the Kryptonian symbol for hope. It's not an S. That's what the Superman emblem is. I blew a lot of people's minds right now.
Hope starts with an H, stupid.
Yeah.
For those that don't know.
Hope starts with an H, stupid. What does this mean on your planet? Gratitude?
Still one of the funniest things ever.
College humor. I can't. Pete Holmes doesn't miss. Pete Holmes is Batman. Where are the other drugs going?
So good.
Weird side tangent. But James Gunn, with the way that he changed the story, it added a layer to the character. And instead of, like, Zack Snyder did everything symbolism wise to show that Superman is Jesus and he's like the ultimate man, and instead of symbolizing it, he basically said it in his speech at the end. That's what he tells Lex when he finally gets to have that face-to-face, and I was so ready for it. I wanted Superman to get his hands on him, but instead Krypto got the paws on him, and Krypto pieced him up pretty good. But that's what he said. He's like, I am what I am because I was raised with all of these gifts, with all of these powers, and I was taught not to use them in a negative way. I was taught to use them in the positive way and be the symbolism of what humanity can possibly strive to be. That's obviously what all the Superman stories come back to, and I have a soft spot for it, but I really enjoyed it. And it's an interesting theory to take. Like, if Jor-El, if some other Kryptonian landed and knew what his mission was from the beginning, things could turn out very differently. And it was also kind of a message for today, like being canceled. Something comes out and it's difficult news. It's something that, you know, maybe you didn't know was bad at the time, and things flip on a dime. It was like, it was relevant to a point where it's, I don't think that it's on the same level of The Dark Knight. I don't think that it's that good of a movie, but there were so many other messages and themes that it kind of transcends just the idea of a superhero movie.
I just thought like all the different character nuances to this movie is what set it apart as being such a fun new version of this world, because like I said, James Gunn's creating this new DC cinematic universe, and and all points, obviously all signs are pointing to this being the first movie, the whole entire thing. And I think you set up so many different things with this, right? Obviously we haven't seen Crypto on the screen in years. I don't think it maybe never has been seen.
I don't think that he's ever been in the movie. I think he's only been in the cartoon.
Exactly, only in the animated Superman show. So it's the first time you've ever seen that. Obviously, Mr. Terrific being brought to life, which I
never knew him, but that was a fucking
his character. His character is awesome. He's going to have so many spin-off movies, TV shows. They're going to make enough stupid money.
What'd you think of the Rookie as Green Lantern? I've never
enjoyed
seen that.
It's a different version of.
Yeah, no, I never seen Guy. I never seen Guy before. Guy Gardner before, but
I thought he was hilarious. I thought the middle finger with flipping off the machines, the tanks as they were flying away, was a great little funny little thing added. I thought Hawkgirl introduction was a little dark. It should be interesting how she just dropped that guy off the cliff. That's not really known for someone in Justice League. Let's just see how they take with that.
Justice Gang.
Excuse me, whatever. It's going to be Justice League. We all know it is. I thought the introduction of all that was just awesome. And I think it's going to elevate even more. I love like the back and forth of the Daily Planet too, because like I love like the side stories. Like that's why I love the Gotham TV show with the Gotham police department and James Gordon and all that, because it's a lot of ground level things that obviously Superman doesn't need to worry about. But Daily Planet gets to cover at these newspapers, and I love all the characters. The Jimmy Olsen being an absolute dog.
Dude, I wasn't expecting that, and I didn't think that I would like it as much as I did, but it was pretty good. It worked.
Gonna have his own TV show too. He was like a child actor too. So
yeah, he was in the most recent reboot of Vacation. That's what I know him most from. He was hilarious.
You can keep adding things on for him. I thought the inclusion of Lois Lane and their relationship was much different than anything we've seen. Right, it was a combatant of can this work? How it was
real? It was real. How a relationship with somebody that's not from this planet would probably go.
Exactly, as opposed to every other Superman, it's like, oh, I love you, Superman, and that's as far as
I'm yours forever.
Exactly, that's how every other Superman version has been, and as opposed to this Lois Lane having that back and forth, which I think will have a more personal touch to it. So all that on top of obviously Lex Luthor being fantastic and his motives and all the different things. Like I love the aspect of Ultraman. I thought that was sweet. Like the when you saw Corn Sweat underneath the mask and Ultraman coming out, I thought that was a fun little added nuance to it. Like there was so many fun little parts.
Nicholas Hoult is the actor who played Lex Luthor, and
I thought fun things added to this that were like, unless you are just like a critic, we're like, this movie sucks because it didn't do this or the other thing. This movie's not made for you. This movie's made for Superman fans. This movie is made for fans that have read the comics, that love all those things, that have never seen some of these larger than life comic book characters brought to life in this sense, and they did a fantastic job of it. Look, I forgot who it was. It might have been like Spielberg or something. It's like Marvel movies are not made for fucking movie critics. Marvel movies, DC movies are not made for movie critics. Very rarely ever will you see a Marvel movie, DC movie in general be like win Best Picture, win whatever, Best Actor, whatever. Very rarely. It's happened a couple times, but very rarely, right? These movies are made for that lighthearted, fun comic book type of story that obviously that the DC creators and obviously Marvel creators have done. And I think it just did a fantastic job of incorporating things we've never seen before. And like I said, the little added things on the end of it just make it so much more fun because it sets up so much money for things. So sets up Supergirl, Millie Alcott. Shout out House of the Dragon. Sets up crypto stuff. Sets up Mr. Terrific stuff. Like it's going to be fantastic.
Yeah, we have the possibility for an Avengers type movie already with like 4 characters that we know of. I think that Pattinson's supposed to be involved in this universe. Like that movie is also supposed to be there, and I don't know if he's going to reprise the role, but I trust where this is going.
I don't know if they're going to be together. That they've said they may not. It's a lot of.
I think it's a contract situation. I think it's a contract situation between the studios. This is the most confident that I've been in a DC Productions with the movie side of things for a long time. Yes, we had hope in the Snyderverse. We all knew that the Snyderverse was going to get made because Zack Snyder is who he is. He has the name value to be able to do that.
The Batman movie is what gave me hope, started giving me hope. This is giving me confidence.
Well, this is like this an actual franchise. Like we can actually put movies together and tell these stories in a way, and we're going to find actors that can play the characters perfectly on the screen. Or as good as we've seen in a long time on the screen.
Think about obviously the Batman with Pattinson at the Penguin show. It's a lot of other villain shows that will come with it. So there's a universe in that itself. But obviously that's what I'm saying. It gave me hope that this is going to be something new that they can turn into what the Marvel has done. And then this movie just gave me confidence that this is going in the right direction. It's going to be going to the box office theaters once again during the summer for these type of movies because it's going to be so good every single time a movie of these comes out.
I'm excited because I also saw, the comparison, and they've already kind of set it up when he attacks Lex in the office and he throws the giant desk and only barely cracks the window. So we're already seeing that this Superman knows how strong he is, knows how to control his strength, and he's very willing to do so. And if you've seen the Justice League animated series, there is an amazing speech where he's like, I feel like I've lived in a world of cardboard. I never get to let loose. And he's fighting Darkseid, and he punches Darkseid through the wall. He's like, but you can take it. Can't you, big guy? I can finally let loose and see how strong I am. That's obviously way down the line. But again, we've seen this formula. We know what they're trying to build towards. I'm just interested to see how they're going to incorporate, who they're going to incorporate first, because they're not going to have everybody all together in the first time that they team up. But how are they going to continue to expand this? I have to do a little bit more research, but as a fan of this movie, I saw the critic score. The critic score was pretty high for this one, 7.6 on IMDb. I think I texted one of my buddies from college that we were pretty big into the comic book stuff. That's what we talked about all through our years there. And I said, this is going to be the Superman movie when I have kids, when I have a family. This will be the movie that I start them with to explain what the story is, why I have the tattoo that I have, why he's my favorite, why there's all this Superman memorabilia around the house. This will be the movie that I show, and hopefully there's an expanded universe, because as a DC guy, I want my future family to also be a DC family. I love the Marvel movies. They're really good. You can have a favorite Marvel superhero movie, but we are a DC house. This is a DC household.
That's fair. That's fair. And last thing before we move on, did you see what I was talking about last week finally? Or did you not see?
You'll have to remind me, because
I gave you a tidbit. I gave you a tidbit without spoiling too much. I said there's gonna be something that you'll see or might not see in this movie that will blow you away.
No, I know. There was a lot that there's too much.
No. There's a specific innuendo for that.
I have no idea.
Peacemaker. John Cena. Can't see.
That was
Louise.
Nico. I did like that, but I was also at that point. I was ready because I think that was like right after Lex had killed the John Porian dude in the Pocket Universe. I was already like jonesing for him to get his ass kicked, like figure out how we're gonna get out of this. Get him away from the kryptonite. There's just this. There's that.
Chops. I was looking at my chops when the goat came on my screen. That's all I'm gonna say. No, I had to be last because I heard the voice and I knew where it was coming from, and I was like, "Yes, he's fucking here."
It was a good way to break up because, like I said, it was a pretty dark scene right before.
It got a good laugh in the movie theaters. Everyone just started laughing when it was like dark, and then everyone started laughing at
all these guys are jealous because I'm so much fucking bigger than them. Oh, what?
So
what?
So good.
What?
Shout out Peacemaker.
I have to watch the second season. I enjoyed the first.
The season's not even out yet.
Oh, they're putting in a lot of promo for that second season then, because they've been. I feel like I thought I missed it, but no, I guess not.
Coming.
All right. Oh, Superman. I liked it. I really enjoyed it, and I'm excited to see what they do moving forward. Clearly, I was going to be pretty happy with the results, no matter what.
That was your Super Bowl, and mine is this week. Fantastic Four.
It's been a long time since they've been able to do a good Fantastic Four movie. So
since literally Jessica Alba and that one, because the other iterations sucked. It's like,
I didn't like the other team, but also I didn't really like. Did you like the Silver Surfer movie?
I liked it. I didn't think it was bad. I liked it. I didn't think it was horrible. I think the best one was the very, very first one. But
yeah,
I mean, it's going to be. I'm excited. I'm so excited for this. Obviously, my boss's wife is Invisible Woman, so that's fun. Paul Rabel's married to Vanessa Kirby, so that's a fun little anecdote. He was at the premiere. I didn't get that invite, unfortunately. Not that high up on the totem pole.
We'll get the invite. We'll get the invite to the next red carpet when it comes on the podcast.
Exactly. Did not get that higher up yet. I accidentally called him Mike one time. Did not go well. So we're just gonna move past that. But yeah, Fantastic Four this weekend. I'm so excited for it.
Yeah, speaking of Mr. Rabel, that's a good segue. We haven't talked about it in a couple weeks. Let's go back to the Chicago weekend. Just looking at the Redwoods specifically, it's been kind of a tough stretch after a pretty hot start to the season. That was the start, or I guess the continuation of it.
Not fun.
Yeah,
not fun. Not a great time.
12-10 in Chicago to Carolina, and then last week in Fairfield, 16-12 to New York. So this weekend in Salt Lake, this weekend in Salt Lake, it's not do or die, but you need to get back in the win column because, like we said, the playoffs are set up now where you don't have to sprint through the season, but you do have to make sure that you're not the fourth in your conference. And we'll look at the standings here in a second. But before we get into all of that conversation, it started in the homecoming weekend with those two tough losses, and then it's kind of continued. How are the Redwoods going to steer themselves away from this skid?
Well, I mean, like I said, the good or bad thing about this is like the last place team in each conference misses the playoffs. So right now we're on the outside looking in. But we're only one game back. Is obviously a week can change a lot of things. You look at goal differential. We're at a -8 right now. The Carolina Chaos, who's at the current 3 seed, is at -17. One win this week for us and one loss for that, and we're back in the playoff picture. So it's as easy as that. It's obviously there's 3 games left, 3 games of the season left. We're still a very young team. 12 of the 19 guys we've rostered this season are brand new to this team. Brand new to the team. That's an insane number. And you add on top of this, on top of a first-year starting goalie who Chase has played incredible, first-year starting attackman and midfielder McAdory and Kavanaugh. Like you add in on top of a very young team, it's disappointing the results we have, but you also got to take a step back and realize there's expectations are so unbelievably low for this team because of all the turnover and all the change that, frankly, if you get into the playoffs and you make some noise, then that's all you can ask for. If it's all you can ask for, and then once you get to the playoffs, you make a run at this thing, and you all you have to do is win 3 games, quarters, semis, and championship, right? Like you just go on a little bit of a run, and we saw what happened last year. Is like the 2 number 1 seeds last year lost in the first round, lost in the semis. So it's almost a curse in of itself. So. I like I said, it's been tough, 5-game losing streak, but we are far, far from out of this. And a big week this week, and a big week back home in Denver next week, and we are right back in the middle of this thing.
Yeah, there's 3 weekends left of the regular season. You got to take it one weekend at a time. Now you've already got through your homecoming, so you're only going to have 1 game a weekend. This week it's Utah's homecoming, and you guys are the opening matchup on Friday at 6 p.m. After you guys, Maryland and New York. Then Saturday we have the Water Dogs taking on the Chaos, and Denver wrapping things up, going up against Utah. I want to talk a little bit about Denver because they were similar.
How's he in the league right now?
I was going to say, I wanted to see if it continued because last year was a struggle. They made their way through the draft. They picked up some good free agents. The Outlaws seem like they're on a pretty good tear and pretty solidly in the playoff picture right now.
I mean, they're in the driver's seat for the number 1 seed in the West. Not even just they started 0-2 and won 5 in a row. Obviously, the goalie change of bringing rookie Logan McNaney in the net, who was the best goalie in college across last year out of Maryland, helps a lot. Obviously, the 4 Tewaaraton winners. I hear that every fucking day that they have 4 Tewaaraton winners, and Pat Cav, Brennan, Wisnauskas and Jared Bernhardt has been unstoppable. They had arguably this game this past week against Boston was one of the best games PL has ever had. 19-18, high scoring game. Bernhardt hits a game winner. Such an incredible lacrosse game and back and forth where it could very well be a PLL championship matchup and at the end, or a PLL championship matchup at the end of the season. So the Outlaws are absolutely humming, and there's no stopping them right now. They've capitalized on a lot of their capitalized on a lot of the things that they struggled early within the season, and they're showing what a good goaltender and overpowered offense that has so many different ways of beating you helps, and the Outlaws are absolutely humming.
At 5-2 right now, looking through and going out to the standings, it looks like the parity is there. So that's something that I'm sure.
I believe one more game and they're almost maybe 2 wins, and they've secured the number 1 seed in the West.
It helps when you have a +13 shot.
The worst part about that is obviously you look at the Denver Outlaws bye week. It's the last week of the year. Then there's a built-in bye week. So there'll be 3 weekends where the Outlaws won't play going into the second round if they do get that first round bye. So that could be a huge disadvantage to hurt them in the playoffs. But I mean, as good as they are, you got to think they'd be able to figure it out. But for a team that's hot as they are, having those 3 weeks off could end up hurting them. So we'll see.
Yeah, you don't want to manufacture a loss, but taking a little bit more adversity earlier in the season, maybe getting yourself to where you can play all the way through. It's tough to be a number 1 seed in the first time that you've ever been in that situation. Look at the playoff this year for college football. Every single team that got the bye lost in the game that got the bye. None of them made it to the final weekend, and that advantage turned into a disadvantage quickly. The other standings in the West, so it's Denver, Utah with 8 goals ahead in the goal differential. Carolina with the same record. They're -16. Utah's -8. California right now 2-5, -7 goal differential. So yes, you were the scenario that you're saying. Yeah,
one win this week and win the 2 seed. Like first, 1-1 game against Utah, and that hurts their goal differential, hurts our goal differential. We'll bump to the 2 seed. Obviously, Utah will play a doubleheader and they'll play a second game, but a lot of things can change in 1 week. So, and before we jump off the PLL, since we're in a filler episode with not much to talk about, I want a outside perspective. Give me your rankings of the throwback jerseys and the indigenous jerseys from the past 2 weekends, because both have been incredible. Our throwbacks, I loved our throwbacks. I thought they were incredible. Our indigenous jerseys, first time a team has ever worn brown in the PLL too. I'll let you pull, and I know I'm pulling this in a spot, but the throwback jerseys were incredible. I think there was an obvious favorite, and an obvious not so great, and the indigenous, I think all were very solid.
All right. So I'm making sure that I'm looking at the right ones. The Redwoods this year, the throwback jersey was white, yes, with Callie on the front.
Yes, with the little bear on the front. Yes.
All right. So I like the bear, obviously, with Callie and the Disney ties. The animated bear makes sense. I do like how simple and clean the Outlaws are. The Archers look like a practice jersey. Philly is like a gross color combination with the green and the purple.
Any sense on that one? Yeah.
I get it because they're trying to play. It's everybody in Pennsylvania. It's the same thing that I say with Pittsburgh. They all have the same color scheme so that they can say, oh, look, the hockey Steelers are playing. Oh, look, the lacrosse Eagles are playing. Carolina looks like a college team. New York does. Boston's a pretty sick logo.
I hated Boston. Boston's ones look disgusting. Number 1 easily was the Outlaws for me.
Yes, I was going to say the Outlaws.
Those are literally the jerseys that they won their multiple MLL championships with. That was just like unreal, and just the number 1 for me. I loved ours. The yellow was a nice touch. The numbers on the back with the green outline was sick. The yellow on the front was a little bit iffy for me, but I thought our jerseys were pretty cool too. Phillies were one of my least favorite. Boston's was one of my least favorites as well.
I'll pull them up on the screen.
Carolina went all black, which I thought was pretty cool. I love their all black look too. The New York one, the lettering was interesting. The Archers is just classic.
Carolina looks like they're playing in it's like South Carolina's squad that's going out there, like the University of South Carolina.
Yeah, basically, the Carolina Chaos one was one of my favorites because the red and black fits just so well together. So that's how the throwback rankings go for me.
I liked it. I do like them. The Indigenous weekend, I forget every year that there is this, and it is one of my
Some of the
favorite.
best. The logos are some of the best ever. Like the logos make it so cool. I will say there's one bad logo, but the rest are incredible.
Let's see. So I got them up on the screen. So if you're watching, make sure you subscribe to the YouTube channel. Love the bison for Denver. Love
The orange looks so good. The vice and the orange aloes. They maybe had the best list.
Nico, I don't know if you're gonna like this. I do like the brown, but this bear is not my favorite.
That's fine. That's fine. The brown looked a little more like tree wood brown than it does in the pictures. Also.
Yeah. No, I think that it brighter, a little bit brighter of a tone would come across in person. I don't really like the Boston logo on this one.
The Boston is a campfire. That's probably my least favorite of all of them. Still by far and away. It makes no sense, but
yeah. Is this supposed to be a water dog? It looks like
that's a dog. That's a
dog. That's a wolf. That's just a wolf.
It's I love the water dogs one, the black, and it looks clean as well. In terms of my rankings for this one, I don't know. I love the Outlaws one again. I loved ours. I thought the Atlas blue looked very clean with the bowl.
I like the arrowhead for the archers. They have the easiest them in Denver kind of have the easiest logos to put out there, especially for the Indigenous theme. But I really like the way that there's history in how the arrowheads are carved. So sure. I like the way that they kind of, like I said, incorporated that. And if you're not aware, especially up in Canada, so our listeners north of the border, this is old hat to them, but our American listeners might not know. It's not just a Northeast thing. And it is a very big Indigenous sport when you get to the Canadian, just those plains and the reservations that they had up there. And then obviously Noah and Lyle Thompson those are two names that I'd recognize. I recognize those two when we talk about lacrosse. So the Indigenous ties to the game, and it was ancient. It's ancient warfare. That's how they used to settle disputes between tribes. And I love how they always bring that back. And the wooden sticks, the ancestral sticks that they show off, those are always cool.
Oh, the wooden sticks. We had Dr. James Reed was there, and he brought his sticks, and he's a stick maker. Crap, I don't want to butcher his name, but Johnson, he's a excellent wooden stick maker, and he was making sticks in Fairfield last weekend. So it was, or Jack Johnson, excuse me, that was a Jack Johnson, not the Avalanche Jack Johnson. Different lacrosse Jack Johnson was making wooden sticks there. Such incredible. I still been on the lookout for getting one. I need one at least.
From the Akwesasne Mohawk Nation.
I worry so much about breaking those that I would never play with them. Pause, but I would hang it up on a wall somewhere so quickly. My apartment basically is a freaking man cave at this point, so might as well throw a lacrosse stick on the wall.
There's a lot of masculine energy. It's kind of
it's funny because my parents are like, man, your apartment just has a bunch of just like memorabilia everywhere. It's like you just keeping stuff, and I'm like, yeah, it's like, you know what? I love having stuff. It's like, this is what my house is going to look like. And then my parents were like, my mom was like, this is not how your significant other is going to want her house put everywhere. This could be in your cave downstairs. So fine, they'll be in my man cave downstairs.
Yes. No, I've seen it in person and I like it. And I've been told the same thing when my parents go down to my room in the house. They're like, this is
not going to
be cool. Black bedding. Black sheets, black comforter. You're not gonna have that. 3 pillows on the bed. Nice. Wait till you get some throw pillows, big guy. Shit. PLL obviously this weekend going to take place in Utah. So if you're out there in the Salt Lake area, check it out. It's one of the coolest events that you can go to live. I'm looking forward to the Denver event coming up in a couple weeks.
We'll talk about that next week. I'm so excited to be home and sleep in my old bed. I'll tell you what, so freaking excited. So
yeah, you're traveling quite a bit. And it's always nice to be the home weekend's always nice, even though it's not necessarily a home weekend for you. Getting into, like we said, it's a filler episode. So we're going to do our previews of every team, every division. We'll go each one individually because we have quite a bit of time. So we'll do like AFC, North, South, East, West, then NFC, and do all of the divisions. But to recap, so that we know where we're coming from, if you did not watch the show during last football season, or if you didn't pay attention to the NFL, because we've kind of bumped up over the NHL and NBA season. I'm a Bengals fan. I've been a Bengals fan for a long time, 18 years. I counted it last season. It is like 18,000 days. Terrible way that the season has gone. Terrible starts to the season has kind of been the norm. We have an amazing quarterback. I guess that's where we'll start the series this season. I can't believe that they did so much documentation of this season specifically because of how good he was, and then how stupid it always looks at the end when we're sitting there watching the Broncos game play against the Chiefs JV squad. They're like, oh, we might have a chance. Yeah, no, there was no chance because you guys didn't give anybody a chance. Looking back at the schedule, biggest losses that everybody remembers: the Patriots week 1, 16-10, the Chiefs in week 2. Whether it's a questionable pass interference call at the end or not, 26-25, and Commanders on Monday Night Football, 38-33. The Ravens twice. I believe both those games were decided by less than 5 points total. You lost to the Steelers this year, which is the first time that you've lost to them in 3 seasons. So that was perfect. And as good as you were down the stretch, finishing 9-8 and third in your division does not guarantee you a playoff spot. And I said it at the end of last season. If you were meant to be in the playoffs, you would be there. You don't have to whine and bitch about, oh, well, the Chiefs didn't want us in. They're scared. The Bills are scared. They were rooting for the Broncos. I don't think anybody was scared. I think that the Bills probably do the same exact thing to the Bengals if that was the matchup that we saw in the first round of the playoffs, because guess what? The defense was that bad. Yes, we had the leading sacker of all time. Had. He's still going to be
more stuff came out this week.
He's still going to be here for at least one more season, unless he wants to.
No, he won't. He said, "I'll retire." He's not playing on that contract. He just said.
Then he won't be playing for the upcoming season, but he won't be playing in another uniform for this upcoming season. I know that for a fact. And yeah, Shamar Stewart is probably going back to college and finding some NIL loophole.
He'll go back into the draft.
So those are all bad things. There was a lot of injuries that people are getting healthy from. It seemed like the defensive message, as much as I thought that the defensive coordinator last year, Lou Anarumo, he's a pedigree coach.
He's a great defense coach for the Kansas City Chiefs, not so much everybody else.
Well, yeah, and for a while when that was the team that you had to beat to get to the Super Bowl, that's exactly what you needed. But last year, I think from everything that I hear from the media, and you can take that however you want it, I think that the Bengals are one of those teams where you kind of have to decipher. Like, you have to listen to the local media, but you also have to listen to it and kind of be a detective. It sounds like he was saying, well, I can't do anything with all my guys hurt. It's not the mindset that you want to have as an NFL coach. Whether you're a head coach or a coordinator, you have to kind of be like a surgeon and think that your shit doesn't stink and you walk on water. Because if you don't think that, anything that you do is going to blow up in your face. And that's what happened last year with that defense. Anarumo is out. Al Golden is going to be in. But Joe Burrow, as long as he stays healthy, the seasons that he stayed healthy, your offense will produce. So I guess that's the where we're sitting right now. I'm expecting 35 points from the offense, and I'm expecting the defense to
40.
Give up 45 sometimes, but have maybe, instead of like 4 games where they give up 39 when we score 38, maybe there's like 3 more games that go our way.
Look, this defense got worse. That's not sugarcoating it slightly, because I know Mike Brown is maybe the dumbest owner in sports, and him and Jerry Jones should just never be behind a mic ever in their lives.
He tries not to be.
Because if you saw what Jerry Jones said about Micah Parsons and CeeDee Lamb getting paid, and then what Mike Brown followed up the next day with about talking about Trey Hendrickson and Shamar Stewart signings, you would think these two guys are okay, I'm going to be careful with what I'm saying here, but basically one step foot in a nursing home, because they need help. They need PR training badly, because I don't know how you say it was like, yeah, I just need security when Shamar Stewart ends up in jail. I don't think you should say that about your first round draft pick. But here we are. Good job, Mike Brown. If you were so worried about that, why'd you draft him? There's a lot of other pass rushers still available on the board. A lot of other defensive players. Jahdae Barron, a guy the Broncos got, number 1 corner, true corner in a draft class you could have gotten, that you just decided to pass up on. You decide, you know what, we're going to take the guy with problems, and then also we're going to tell him you're not going to get paid anything, though, if you have these problems. which in reality makes sense. But it's a first-round pick that if you think these problems are going to happen, why would you even draft him? It's horrible. Horrible business.
It's not what you're worried about with him. That was the dumbest thing that you could say, because that's not the reason why they're trying to add this into the contract language. So somebody clearly isn't explaining it to him in a very easily to understand format, because you have an 89-year-old, 90-year-old man getting in front of a camera and speaking about, I mean, let's just call it what it is, an African-American player that he probably sees as a possible guy that's going to get arrested. That's not what you're worried about. You're worried about him not playing as hard as he can, because that's what he did in college. He would go out there and half-ass most of the reps that he was out there on the field. That's why he only has 4 sacks.
He's been training his ass off. He's a great kid.
Yeah,
that's horrible.
You give him an opportunity to prove himself, but you're not even worried about that, Mike. That's not what we're trying to explain to you.
It's utterly ridiculous, because I can't emphasize enough. Why do you draft the guy? This hasn't happened since literally America was in the middle of a war, and guys like, I have to go serve my country. That's why I can't play for you. So I'll have to get drafted again next year. That's literally the last time this situation has happened with a first-round pick. It's embarrassing. And then you throw in the fact of you want to post about, well, we kept T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. Let's post all the Twitter memes and all Twitter posts about how we weren't going to be able to keep both of them. And then you let your best, probably the most impactful player on your team, not probably the most impactful player on your team, not named Joe Burrow, just sit there without a contract. It's horrible. It's absolutely horrible for business. It's a reason why the Bengals have always been a laughing stock of the league, because shit like this has always happened. And we thought, you and I both, I was excited for you. I thought that we were past this. Joe Burrow, you got gifted one of if not the greatest college quarterbacks in college football history in Joe Burrow. He's an Ohio kid, comes back to Ohio, leading the team, got the team to the Super Bowl, couple plays away from lifting the first Lombardi Trophy. And what's happened since then? Become the laughing stock of the NFL again. Some organizations.
He is not the laughing stock.
Some organizations just know how to keep putting themselves under more than they do, because they can say, "Oh, it's this fault. Oh, it's actually his fault." No, reality, like the Rockies, like the Broncos for 8 years there, you kept digging yourself further and further underneath. You said, why is it his fault? Why is his fault? Never just looking at yourself. And in reality, it's been the Bengals' fault this entire time.
I'm looking forward to see if he can get close to 5,000 passing yards again, because he was 4,918 last year, 43 passing touchdowns. Just keep the offense going the way that they are, and hopefully the team will not be under that same ownership group in the future. And I don't know if him being out is going to make it any better, but I know that it will be different than what I'm accustomed to.
Let me put it this way. If the Bengals are smart, if for whatever reason you start 0-3 again against 3 bad teams, which you know you should not be starting 0-3. Okay, for whatever reason you have a horrible start to the season and the defense starts sucking. You see, because there will be a team available, and this trade has happened before. You'll see if some playoff team wants to take on T. Higgins' contract, and you get a first-round pick back in return. So that way you have 2 firsts going into next year, and you can rebuild your defense entirely. That's the smartest thing you can do if things go sideways this season.
And we're not making predictions, but I will also say if the scenario happens and we're trading T. Higgins, I better have a coach looking for a job.
Yeah,
I swear to God, there is no other explanation for their poor starts and the way that they're lackadaisical all throughout the season. And it's been documented now in the in-season Hard Knocks and in the quarterback series. He doesn't come across in a good light. He's not a positive. He's not a guy that anybody looks at that in the NFL and says, "Oh yeah, I want to go play for him." People go to Cincinnati to play with Burrow. They don't go there to play for Zach Taylor. So you need to learn how to move on from a damn coach and find an adult that's going to tell you shove it when he needs to, because
there's 0 excuses for you to start 0-3 this year. We went over this a couple weeks back when we went over the first 3 games. It is as bad of a first 3 games. It is a 4th place or 3rd place schedule the Bengals are playing.
Yeah, we said it with Bengals and Broncos game, and I think it's a Monday Night Football game. That should be like 2-3-1 at least teams going at it and seeing who's going to be there at the end of the season for that playoff picture. But both teams should be there with the way that they've gotten their third place schedules. Speaking of your Broncos, last season going into it, we were a little bit, up in the air. Bo Nix was unproven, and it didn't start off perfectly. But the difference was there from the very beginning. When Sean Payton wants to coach a guy, he's able to lead a team, and the defense, which I like to point this out, but last year PFF rated them the 32nd out of 32 rosters talent-wise in the NFL. Well, you had Zach Allen, you had Nick Bonito, you had Patrick Surtain. Riley Moss ended up being really good. Alex Singleton, before he blew his knee out, tackled everybody. And when you had Barton come in, he was still pretty solid at linebacker. That defense was able to win you the first few games when Nix was figuring himself out. And then the offense was right there with the rest of the team. Like,
that's
different.
what you want from a team that is hopeful for making the playoffs with a young quarterback. You want a defense that helps carrying you and an offense that's figuring itself out from game 1 to game 17. Because the offense was a lot different from game 1 as opposed to game 17 from Bo Nix. He got a lot more comfortable. He was making audibles a lot more. He was getting more comfortable in the system, and Sean Payton gave him the reins. And it's even going to be more this offseason or this season for them. The thing with the Broncos, and I'll say this again and again, this is a top 3 defense, if not number 1 defense in the NFL. It was the leading sacks of a team, entire team altogether had leading amount of sacks in the NFL last year. Denver Broncos did. Number 1 defensive player in football last year, and the defensive player of the year in pass rusher team. And you had Talafona Hufanga to shore up that back end second safety alongside Brandon Jones, and you add in Dre Greenlaw, who at his best is the best number 2 middle linebacker in the NFL. Not number 1, but a sub-secondary middle linebacker in the NFL, number 2 linebacker. He's the best one. And you add that to a defense that already was the best in the NFL. Like, it's wild to me. People were like, this defense isn't that good. It has great talent, this, that, the other thing. You added all that. Oh, wait, also, you got the best corner in college football last year on your team. Jahdae Barron. First draft pick, right? You're added so much to this defense, and you look at the offense side of the ball, and that's where things will be big question marks over and over and over again because you're relying on a couple things this year. Obviously, you're hoping for a big Bo Nix step up, right? You're obviously hoping for more ownership in the passing game, him to stop making those dumb mistakes he was making last year, those rookie mistakes. You are very hopeful on a rookie running game, a young running game. Obviously, with the addition of J.K. Dobbins with R.J. Harvey, that's going to help the touches, help R.J. Harvey out in the long run. But you need to have a running game more solidified next year because it was struggling all of last year. And that's going to help Bo Nix a ton. And look, the weapons this year, Evan Ingram is going to help big time. Like I said, there was a fucking Where's Waldo list of tight ends on this roster last year. They were like, Lucas Kroll? Where Troutman? Where normal NFL fans would be like, who the? I play like majority of NFL fans play fantasy football. They weren't even drafted fantasy football wise because of how low down the totem pole they were. Like that. That's how poor this tight end room was for Bo Nix, and he adds an Evan Ingram, who obviously healthy is a very good receiver slot tight end. And you add a second year of a couple of these young receivers that you drafted last year. The offense, like I said, the big question is the offense. The defense is still going to win you a lot of football games. The defense is going to win you games where your offense struggles. The question is, can the offense get you out of ruts and when the defense is struggling? And against a Patrick Mahomes, against a Joe Burrow, against a Lamar Jackson, against Josh Allen in the AFC. So that's the big question marks is, can Joe Burrow go toe-to-toe quarterback-wise when your defense is struggling? That's the big question. But this defense is still the best in the NFL, if not a top 3 defense in the NFL.
I feel like Vance Joseph is also going to have a microscope on him because he's been a head coach. It didn't go well in the first time. He's been a very successful defensive coordinator after the Miami game two seasons ago. Kind of iffy at the end of last season. I don't think that his job's like 100% like safe here, but it's also, if he does really well, he might be on the head coaching search.
I will say season. Some coaches are just built for coordinator roles. Look at Spagnuolo in Kansas City. He's become a Hall of Fame assistant coach. He was a horrible head coach. But he's become a Hall of Fame assistant coach with the defense of Kansas City. You look at Wade Phillips. Okay, decent head coach with the Cowboys, great defensive coordinator for a lot of teams, the Rams, and obviously us here in Denver too. So Vance Joseph may just be better with coaching one side of the ball as opposed to supervising the whole team. But I think he's going to have even more weapons at his disposal. And this defense, I am just chomping at the bits. Can't wait to see what this defense looks like.
It's a first season of this podcast where we can kind of sit there and say Broncos have a lot more expectations of what we're normally used to having just since, the ownership change and finding a quarterback since Peyton. The Bengals are back where we knew they were going to be.
First time since 2014 the Broncos are returning a quarterback coach duo. It's fucking nuts.
Yeah. It's going to be the secret sauce.
Years.
I bet you it'll be the secret sauce for them. Let's get into our top 5. Our top 5 animal predators.
Apex. Because for those that don't know the definition of an apex predator, basically means there ain't nobody above them on the food chain. That's what I mean when apex predators means. These guys, and look, I love Shark Week. I chomp at the bits, no pun intended, at Shark Week. I have had it playing every second of the day the last 4 days as we're recording the show. Apex predators means badass motherfuckers in the animal kingdom that if you see as a human being in the wild, don't got a good shot at getting out. Plain and simple. You're gonna be struggling. So I'll go 5 to 1. Number 5, saltwater croc. If you run into a saltwater crocodile, the only thing you can do is run because you're in the water with that him. I hope you can swim fast because these fuckers can swim up to 50 miles per hour. Yeah. Saltwater croc is a reason why Steve Irwin had those TV shows for a long time because of how crazy and how badass these crocodiles are. You look at what they are in the Everglades of Florida. You look at what they are in Australia. The saltwater croc is one of one thing that not many things can eat. The only thing that can basically stop a saltwater croc is a boa constrictor. That's basically the only thing. There's not many. Those things live till you're literally 500 years old. That's the definition of an apex predator.
If you find yourself in a situation, pro tip, their jaws to open, their muscles are way weaker than their muscles to close their jaws. So if you can, keep their mouth closed, but also just run away. Don't be in the water. Don't go to Costa Rica and find a 500 pound, 800 pound saltwater crocodiles. It's not a good idea. Not
a great idea. Number 4, the tiger, the speed of the tiger, the viciousness of the tiger. It's unfortunate these tigers have gone out of or really have really gone to the wayside and gone extinct to a point as well because of how beautiful of an animal they are. But like I said, the tiger in the jungle, you don't fuck with the tiger in the jungle. A tiger will climb a tree. It'll run after you. It'll hide in the bushes where you can't see it. Like if you go to a zoo and you go to the tiger exhibit, it is one of the hardest animals to find because you look everywhere and you're like, where the fuck is it blending in at? It's like, oh, where is this thing? Think about that in the fucking rainforest and in the fucking badlands of Asia and the tigers there. It is a scary, scary sight to see. So that's number 4 for me. Number 3. This one, it's just badass and it has to be on here because you didn't have it. I threw it on here. The African lion. What can you say? It's the lion. It's the king of the jungle. It's the guy. It's the most vicious, the most aggressive, the strongest animal in the desert you'll ever find. The African lion you do not fuck with. You literally are praying to God if you see an African lion that he doesn't see you. Let's put it that way. You're praying to God he doesn't see you. He or she. She even worse.
The females are the ones that hunt.
Especially if you see a cub. If you see a cub, that is not something to be happy about because the mama is right around the corner and she will fuck you up.
Yeah.
She's
lion, looking for you she's trying to G-check somebody and you just happen to be there right now.
Absolutely baiting you. So that's number 3. Number 2, the grizzly bear. The grizzly bear is a fucking behemoth. Those things run fast. They climb fast. If you ever seen a grizzly bear walking in the mountains, you know that if you've ever seen the movie with Leonardo DiCaprio too, that is based off a true story.
Mm-hmm.
The grizzly bear, you do not mess with. It is a thing that it looks soft and cuddly and so kind, but those claws, They stand at 15 feet tall, standing straight up, right? The aggressiveness of the feet or the teeth on the bear. Grizzly bear is a bad dude. Bad dude. So that's number 2. Very, very few things can fight a grizzly bear off. Those things just die of old age. And number 1, the reason for these, why we're doing these lists, great white shark. I understand that they're not the apex because Jimmy has one at number 5 that can battle a great white shark. But I will say, 101, a great shark can beat most animals. Be a shark or be any other shark, beat a whale, beat anything else. An orca whale is the only thing that can combat it. And a great white shark, there's like I said, it's a reason why we have a whole week dedicated to it. Because these things can jump out of the air. If you've never seen the Air Jaws episodes on Shark Week, do yourself a favor and treat yourself tonight. Because it is beautiful watching these massive 12-foot long, couple 800-900 pound sharks just fly through the air, biting through a seal. Mm-hmm. And what great white sharks could do in and out of the water, it's magnificent. They're huge. They're beautiful animals. I want to go cage diving with them one time. And sometime, like, they are such magnificent animals and magnificent creatures. The reasons for us doing these lists are great white sharks, number 1. Honorable mention, silverback gorillas. I know I love gorillas too. So that's the honorable mention.
Predator.
I know, not an apex predator, more just a fucking dog, an absolute dog in the animal kingdom.
Shout out to us for being the first podcast not to do the 100 men versus a gorilla debate. We didn't have to scrounge that low during the summer months.
We may get to it.
We'll see. My list, it starts off with what you were just talking about, the orca. Blackfish changed my perspective on them. And then if you see, there's people that I watch on social media, they talk about how they hunt, how they take down blue whales. Blue whales are like 20 times the size of one singular orca, but a pack of 20 orcas, it's a missile. Like, they set up a perimeter and then they have people just dive bomb and they play with their food. They're intelligent, just like dolphins. They're the most vindictive and vicious and violent of any of the mammals that we see at sea. So orcas, and by the way, this is one of my favorite facts. If a shark hears the frequency of an orca, he disappears from that area for like the next 6 months. He's like, I don't want this is I'm good. Your hunting ground. I don't need anything. I'm actually full now that I think about it. So please, I don't want none of that smoke.
There was a great Shark Week show where we talked about orcas versus sharks and how orcas hunt and how they really get the better of great white sharks and how the liver on the shark is really a weak spot and that orcas basically know that and they attack that spot where a shark has no reactions to a bite from that spot. And more and more great white sharks and sharks in general are seeing that their livers are eaten out and they're like, what the fuck is going on, man? It's like, oh, it's the psychoness of an orca.
Are we selling shark livers on the black market now?
The orcas are just, they're beautiful, sweet looking animals. They may be the most vicious animal in the entire animal kingdom, especially the ocean.
Yeah. I never want to be out there as deep as you have to be able to see an orca. Number 4, another sneaky one, but mosquitoes kill the most amount of people per year based on the blood disease. So that is why when you go to certain places throughout the world, you have to have a ton of vaccinations. Mosquitoes, I know in America, yes, they're annoying and we have the bug spray. I'm talking about the mosquitoes that can probably lift you away. Have you seen the episode of Family Guy where they go to Africa and it's just the people that are dressed up like them? Mosquitoes deserve to be on the list because of the way that they are able to kill, and they don't eat anything that they kill. So they just kill for fun. Similar to one of yours, polar bear on my list because polar bears are tall. I think they're taller, or maybe I think they might be taller, but they're skinnier. And obviously their environment is shrinking, but a polar bear is something that it can jack up pretty much anything. They have the claws to rip through a walrus husk. So that's a lot of blubber that you got to slice through to be able to get to any of the food that you actually want to eat. So polar bears definitely hold a big spot on my list. Have you ever heard of a beso de muerta?
I have not heard of a beso de muerta.
So this is a snake that down in South America, the jungle trees where they come over the top of the trail, these things hang down. They look like vines, and they're called the beso de muerta. That's translated to kiss of death because when they're hanging down as the vine and you walk underneath, they just bite you right in the face.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, jeez.
So again, I'm not going to any Costa Rica. No, I don't want to see a crocodile. I don't want to see a beso de muerta. I'm good. I'm going to just stay at the beach.
Pass on that. Thank you very much.
And my top, number one, it is the most overpowered for where they live. The jaguar in the jungle. Everything that you said about tigers, I think the tigers are also nocturnal or maybe do a little bit more work in the dark, but jaguars are fully nocturnal. They are black. They're spotted. When you're in the darkness, all you will see is the yellow eyes, and you will not know. You won't sense that they're there until they're already attacking. Unless you have like huge animal instincts, you're Spider-Man, and you're able to see that a jaguar is about to attack you. It's over as soon as you sense where they are. So to me, jaguar, we're talking about apex predators. That's been my top for a long time. Not the Jacksonville Jaguars, just the jaguar in general.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence not as tough of a predator as an actual jaguar staring at you with those yellow beady eyes, staring through the vines and through the trees and stalking you as his prey.
Yeah, no gracias, no, por favor, no. That was a good top. I like that topic. It was a little bit different than what we were doing, and I had just more of a generic sports one that we were thinking about. So I'm glad that we went with that one instead. Now we get into play, player, and bench warmer of the week. So let's talk about play of the week first. What did you have for play of the week?
I mean, look, I'll be honest with you. There's nothing that I just blew my socks out of the water. There's UFC fights that were great, but there was one PLL play where Brandon O'Neill decided to go in between his legs and show off and went for one of the nastiest goals you'll ever see. So Brandon O'Neill went in between his legs against the Boston Cannons, turned his back, basically didn't have to go in between legs, but said, F it, I'm going to do it anyways. And it was absolutely nuts goal from him this weekend. So that'll be my play of the week.
Mine is baseball. It's basically the only thing that you can get live plays from. I know there's a couple softball leagues and PLL still going on, but Ronald Acuna Jr. is back and he's fully healthy. And he announced that he caught a ball in right field without looking, turned on one foot and threw a dot. Didn't bounce it at all. Like hit the third baseman right in the glove and threw the guy out at third base. And a play that should have been safe no matter what. And the way that he caught the ball, so normally as an outfielder, you're taught to run behind the ball and then come at it so that you have the momentum going there. He underran it on purpose, stuck his arm out so that he could plant with his back foot, which is his right foot, to throw, and then twisted as he was catching the ball with one hand. So his hand-eye coordination was such that he could do a pirouette in the air before getting ready to load up and throw a 350-foot piss missile to the third baseman. Ronald Acuna also gets my player of the week shout out. So we'll put it out there. He's back, ladies and gentlemen. The Braves look like they're going to be dangerous coming down the stretch. We'll get Christian on, like we said, to talk a little bit of baseball, but we'll wait until closer to the playoffs. Player of the week for you.
Max Holloway, I had to throw him in there. Look, I love Dustin Poirier. That was a tough showing from him. Max Holloway showed why he's still one of the baddest men on the planet. I've said this on the show multiple times. When it's Max Holloway fight week, it's a little bit of juice in the step. You're just like, oh, baby, it's Max Holloway fight week. What are we going to see from this weekend? Max Holloway obviously beat Dustin Poirier, dominated majority of the fight. Obviously, the choke that Poirier in was basically the only offense he had that was significant. He outstriked him entirely. He proved why he's one of the best, if not the best boxer. They're calling him the Hawaiian kickboxer for a reason in the UFC. No one can stand and box with this guy at the end of the fights. People say they want to, but no one wants to. Dustin Poirier stood in there for 5 seconds, the last 10 seconds. For those that don't know what I'm talking about, look at the picture that we're going to post. He's pointing to the ground. Last 10 seconds fight, he said, let's fucking go. And they just swing. Those famously saw UFC 300. He knocked out Justin Gaethje with 1 second left within this wild sequence. He's done it every fight since and said, let's go. And who wants some? And people have just said, I can't do it. I can't do it. I don't want to get knocked out. And I love Dustin, but Dustin made an executive decision and said, I'm going to clinch with the 4 seconds left. I said, I don't want to get knocked out. My last fight, I don't want to get Max is way too good at this. I can't do this. And Max is proving why he's one of the baddest motherfuckers on the planet and why he's the BMF for a reason. He stood in there and said, who wants some? Come get some. He'll fight DC. He'll fight Habib, he'll fight whoever he wants and say, "Come fucking swing with me," and let's see who can knock the other person out. Max Holloway's a badass. I love Max Holloway Fight League. I cannot wait for his next fight. He is such one of the most exciting fighters. Like I said, everything that everyone thinks Conor McGregor is as a fighter is what Max Holloway is. Conor McGregor is a great talker. He is an okay guy backing up in the ring. Max Holloway is the nicest guy you'll ever meet and will fucking fight his ass off for 5 rounds or however long the fight goes. And he's such an incredible person for the sport. So Max Holloway is my player of the week.
I like it. He had a great performance, and now that moves us to Benchwarmer of the week. Mine goes back to our opening segment. I said it at the very beginning, but there is no one that I hate more than Lex Luthor. No, there's nothing else. Like I was so happy that Crypto broke his arm. He deserved more to happen to him. The envy, the embodiment of envy that is Lex Luthor. I'm not going to say it, but F that guy. F that guy.
Yeah, very good. It's a bad week to be a SEAL. My Benchwarmer week is a sea lion. That's as simple as it comes. I will say honorable mention. I almost re-edited this and sent it to you. Panathinaikos. Come on, baby. We had people in the comments last week telling me that the guy just wants to be happy and Valanciunas shouldn't be strained to a contract and blah, blah, blah. And he just wants to go play for Panathinaikos because it's the epitome of European basketball. Oh, that's so tough, ain't it? He's excited to be a Denver Nugget. Let's read the quote, Jimmy. Let's read the quote because he went off and decided to tweet out and said on record, I am excited for a chance at winning an NBA championship. Panathinaikos, I know you're mad. I know your Greek fans are mad. What are you going to do now about it? What are you going to do now about Valanciunas is coming to win an NBA championship? And you were crying, well, he doesn't want to play. Oh no, it's hurting him to play.
Oh, ladies and gentlemen, he figured out how to pronounce the Greek name just so that he could troll you guys.
Oh, that's the best part is Panathinaikos. I'm trying to find the tweet. Where the hell is it? There it is. Jonas Valanciunas spoke with me to clear the air of the Nuggets and Panathinaikos situation. Donatas Urbanis, I'll give him the rightful credits. I want to clear the air about my playing situation next season now that Denver has made their decision to keep me. The idea of playing for Panathinaikos closer to home was very exciting. But that will have to fucking wait because I am fully committed to honoring my contract with the Denver Nuggets this season, giving my all to compete for a fucking championship. So put that in your juice box and suck it, Panathinaikos. You won't get him until next year. Congratulations. The best backup center of the NBA is here residing in Denver. His name is Jonas Valanciunas. So come on with the comments about crying and whining, all you Panathinaikos fans, because apparently you're going after all of us Denver media folks for no reason. Sorry about it.
They have nothing else to do or worry about in Greece, right? There's like not an economic crisis or being on a European continent that's about to implode. There's nothing else that you have better to do except go after Denver Nuggets guys, right?
Everything. You're not as big as the NBA. Sorry about it. Don't tell you. Sorry about it.
There's not a better way to wrap this thing up. Make sure you're following, you're subscribed. If you made it this far, we will start our division recaps next week. We'll have more sports topics to talk about, but we'll also be wrapping up and getting ready to end the summer next week. I have next week and the week after, and I'm back in school. So it's crazy how time flies and things are moving. For myself, Jimmy Pilato, my co-host Nico Bryant, episode 240 of the Far End of the Bench podcast. We will see you guys next week.
Peace.
If you don't stay down and you never quit, come on over here and sit on the far end of the bench.